Hey, 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 hey. It's been a while. Let me just check. Just make sure everything's running okay. View my channel. Live. Am I live? I'm live. Am I live? I'm live. There we go. Right, we're there. We'll just wait to see if anybody rolls in. Live I am. Hey! Oh, look, it's been a while. Yes. Tippy tappy tippy. Hey! Hey, hey, hey. Yeah, I just thought, I was just sat downstairs and I was like, there's no football on. There's like, and I was thinking about it earlier on today as well, if I'm honest. Let me just get rid of some of this on-screen nonsense that I've got going on here. And I thought, you know what? I'll go see the good folks on YouTube. Just closing this down. Don't save. And I thought, yeah, I'll pop on and just see who is knocking about. And it looks like there's a few of yous that are there. Neil's there. Hey up, Three Dogs. Roger Smith. Real World Music. Gary. I know, Gary. I wonder if I can do that here. Can I put that on screen here? No, I can't. Let me just see if I've got some shenanigans that I can do here. I need to put this on screen. I know I'm absolutely gutted. It's with that one, you know, when we lose legends, absolute legend, Dolly. Yeah. So and to be fair, 80. She's 80. She were 80. So it's like, it's not in today's money. That's not too old, really, is it? It's not that old. So yeah, a bit sad about that one. Let's see who else is in it, coming in, rolling in here. I've no agenda whatsoever, guys. I'm just popping on to be social, really, more than anything else. Just say hello. Just say hello, and and like Roger says, just show my locks. See you can see how long my hair is now. Progress update. Let's call it a progress update on the hair. Yeah, she did. She wrote a hell of a lot of good songs, you know, and stuff like it's not just, you know, the usual ones that like Whitney Houston covered I Will Always Love You, and that was, you know, stuff like that. What up, Fretheads? The Analog Kid is in the chat. Excuse me. Yeah, so I've got me cup. I've got a cup of Yorkshire tea. You know, it's not a live stream if I don't grab a cup of tea. Yeah. Yes. Hey up, John. Yes, it's been a while. So very nice to see you up here. I'm just wondering if I can put. There's something on here that I can put the chat on up here instead. So I'm not just looking down there. You're all right. You don't have to make me a brew either. I've already got one. Oh yeah. Mrs. Ricky was like, Miss Ricky was just like saying, she was thinking that she was going to have to make me my usual cup of tea, but no, she doesn't. So what was I looking at then? I was going to look and see if I can switcheroo this and have the chat on screen. No, that's just a bad idea. Don't try and do clever things on a live stream, Ricky. It's just no, it's no good. How are we doing? How are we all doing? I was looking at you. I was looking at you, Brett. All right, that down here on the screen. Yeah. It's one of those. The inevitable, unfortunately. It's sad we haven't got the elixir of life yet. But would you want it? I don't know. I sometimes wonder that. Would you want the elixir of life? You know. You're doing great from Saskatchewan. That's probably. I'm guessing that must be some sort of Canadian, native Canadian tribe. It sounds like it to me. Probably. I think so. That's what I'm assuming, anyhow. How are you all doing, anyhow? How's the practice going? Are we going to get a lesson from the book? From the good book? Oh, look, it's there. I didn't plan on a lesson from the book, really. But I mean, if you have some questions, I'll answer questions and stuff. Yeah. If that's what you want to do, if you have any questions, and then yeah, I've got the guitar here. I've got the overhead camera on as well, so if I need to do pen and paper. Do you like it? It's getting there, isn't it? I can't tell you how many times. Look at that. I can't tell you how many times I've thought of cutting it off. Let's have a look. Yeah. Right. Do you know what, Gary? I mean, I've stopped following the news and stuff. It's all crap. It's all someone else's agenda, isn't it? Really, that's the way I think about it. Well, I really like this. Moving to this from this D major chord here, and then I'm thinking that this is a diminished. And it reminds me of the, I don't know if I'm going to be able to sing it. Someday I'll fly away. You know that one? Just those two chords there. Yeah, and that maybe makes me think of Dolly, you know, as well. That's what I was thinking, you know. So we can do that. That's a nice one. But somebody was saying something. There was a question. Is this the hair for the band I talked about previously? Yes. Still not happened yet because I've been doing a lot. I've been doing a heck of a lot of work here at 20 Downing Street. 20 Downing Street is like probably in East London. Yeah, it's like you see it on TV, the 10 Downing Street. It's but it's all fenced off. You're not getting in to have a look. I think I did when I was a kid. You could do that, but you can't now. It's all. You know, so anyhow, so like we say, I'm just waffling. Thank you, Roger Smith says, thank you again for Father Ends and Down Goes Charles's Father. Oh yes, it is the lesson that keeps on giving it. And if you've seen the lesson on synonyms, then it'll make sense with the magic phone number. If you know the magic phone number, because the thing is, Battle Ends and Down Goes Charles's Father. Those are the 7 notes from C major. And basically, the way I see the guitar is I see it as being in the key of C major, just like you would do on the white keys of a piano. If you look at the white keys on the piano, that's a good way of understand it. And then the black keys. And the funny thing is that the black keys on the piano are also they're a pentatonic. It's weird, isn't it? There's a major scale with the white keys, and with the black keys there's a pentatonic. And I've thought about that. I've got a diagram somewhere that I did ages ago on that. And wish you could grow like hair like Haaland. He's cut it all off. He's cut it all off. He's shaved it. He's gone buzz cutted it. It's all gone. Yeah, and he looks about 12 years old now. So that's that was one. It was just like, oh no, don't do that. Yeah, so so the Battle Ends and Down Goes Charles's Father thing, you can think to yourself, there's a little nugget. Do you want a nugget? Do you want a nugget, guys? If you want a nugget, you can have a nugget. Because I'm thinking of the fretboard as being a C major, and actually I think of it as having 5 strings, which is bizarre because it's not a banjo or anything like that. But the thing is, the way that it repeats, yeah, if you think about it, E, A, D, G, yes, B, E. Well, what it is, and when I do these videos, people say, oh, why don't you just tune to fourths? Personally, yes, I know, Sean, it's really sad, man. It really is. Legend. Good to have you on. So what I do is I think to myself, okay, well, there's the C and there's the F. So if I had a 7-string guitar, the 7th string, the thickest one, would be a B. Yeah, so it would be B, E, A, D, G, and then C and F. Yeah, so it would, and then it would start again. Or you could think of it as the 5. Yeah, so we go E, A, D, G, and then this really, B, E. That's Battle Ends starting again. So it's fourths. If you see this, some people talk about it and they say, oh yeah, the guitar's tuned in the fifths. And it isn't. It's in fourths going down that way, because you don't really start from here. Nobody starts learning the scales from this note here. You know, on that string, you start on the low end and then ascend through the scale or the chord. We look at it that way. Yeah. So the thing is, the whole deal with the Battle Ends thing is that it goes up in fourths. Yeah. So perfect fourth, perfect fourth, perfect fourth. Wonk in the tuning, the kink in the tuning there between the G and the B, which is a major third, but if we compensate for it, we get the C there and the F there. So ends and down goes Charles's Father. Now, just get that out of the way, and you'll find that on B. So the B that I would have had there, Battle Ends and down goes Charles's on the B string. So really, I just think of it as a 5-string instrument with an extra string. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, back in the day, the English court guitar only had, the guitar originally had 5 strings. Then they added another string on, and it was a D. So it was drop D before it was the standard, Elephants and Donkeys Grow Big Ears, or Eddie Ate Dynamite, Goodbye Eddie, or whichever way you want to... mnemonic it. And I think, okay, so if that's the case, then just all the natural notes, they're just C major. They're the white keys of the piano. And then if you look at the other notes that aren't in C major, then they'll form a pentatonic, and you'll get, funnily enough, you get all 5 of your pentatonic box patterns there as well. Look, F sharp, G sharp, and then we get we're going to call this A sharp. Yeah. So I get an F sharp major there, and that F sharp there. If you look at it, there's C. It's a tritone away. So it's a tritone away is a pentatonic. So if you're playing in a key and you move a tritone away, you'll find a pentatonic. If that makes sense. It's something I need to do in a proper lesson for you, anyhow. Yeah. So, cut your hair and lose your strength, the story goes. Yes. Jolene was a banger song. Yes, indeed. So, Roger says, so fifths is up. If you want to think about it from ceiling to floor, we're going up in pitch in perfect fourths. If we started on a thin E string and we went towards the ceiling, we'd be going up in fifths. Because the thing is, the circle of fifths is the circle of fourths backwards. So the thing is, when people say learn the circle of fifths, my caveman brain goes, yeah, but that's like for composing and borrowing chords and things like that, and thinking about it in terms of key. Right, but when I think circle of fourths, I think the nature of the guitar, the way the guitar is tuned. Yeah, apart from that third that we have to compensate for. Yeah, does that make sense? And that's another thing. Actually, that's probably a good thing to show you. Who plays ukulele? If anybody plays ukulele, let me show you something. Your ukulele, you'll recognize. Hopefully, if you play guitar, you can play ukulele. Okay, if you know you should write a song called it. Right, now if I put this on here, if I got rid of my E and my A string, I hope the light's enough there. I got rid of my E and my A string. It's at the 5th fret. Right, 5th fret there. Right. Now I've got a G, C, an E and an A. That's the ukulele tuning. So the thing is, if you get rid of the E and the A string, say for instance there was like your house suddenly had a dramatic atmospheric change and your E and your A string just snapped off your guitar and you're only left with 4 strings there, and somebody said to you, burst through the door and said, to stop this environmental disaster, what you need to do is you need to play a song with those last 4 strings that you have. Well, those 4 strings that are left, you end up with the ukulele tuning. Only thing is that the D string is a thick string and it's wound. If that makes sense. So we've got this. So we've got this here. That would be a thin string, because when you get that ding 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 on a ukulele. So then if you just go like this, you'll start to see your little ukulele chord shapes in there. So if you think about, yeah, can I play a ukulele? And a ukulele's the thing about a ukulele, they always make me chuckle because they're kind of a bit of a jolly sound. I think it was always one of those things. It was in the case in the UK with UK TV, in the adverts, that there would be some holiday advert that would say, "Oh yeah, book your holiday now in Spain," and it would be like some jolly ukulele tune, and it just became a little bit cliche and twee. But I mean, the thing is, if you got small hands, then that's a great thing, and to start with, actually, it is good practice. So if you can't take your guitar on holiday, take a ukulele. You could do. So the ukulele is tuned in fourths, but the low G string is an octave higher because they can't wind it thick enough to be a low G. Yeah, I've got a baritone uke. Well, they're not tuned wholly in fourths. There's 2 string pairs that are fourths, because if you think about it, G to C, G, A, B, C, that's 4, right? And then so if we did it like this, right? Okay. So we went G, C, E, A. So the C to the E. So we go C, D, E. Well, that's a third. So you keep that third in there, yeah. But then you're back on track when you go from the E to the A string, because it goes E, F, G, A. So you see you're going up in four notes, and we're talking natural notes. Don't think of sharps or anything else like that. Yeah, don't go thinking of any of that, because you'll start confusing yourself, or frets. Yeah. All right. Okay. So you went. George, did we have them round? We had a Huddersfield, in Huddersfield. We had a, I'm sure we had a ukulele convention or something like that in the local town hall one year, and then it came, and then obviously the pandemic happened. I can't stop playing those two little chords there. They're wonderful, right? But you see, this is. Do you want a nugget? We'll do a nugget. I like chord 1 and chord 2. This isn't chord 1 and chord 2. But if I do this, see, I've got chord 1 here. This is D major. And then if I play chord 2, this is E minor. I can borrow the thick E string actually if I want, for that shape. But what I like to do is I like to take the D there and the E minor here. And bear in mind, this is a transposable idea. So if I go like this, I go D, E. So say I went this, F sharp. Ooh. So it doesn't matter where I am. The shapes are going to be the same. And I'm looking here on this third finger. I'm thinking 5th, root, 3rd. That's the root note for my chord 1. If I go up a step, that's the root note for my chord 2. That's on one level. I am thinking of it in another level as well. This works on ukulele as well. So this is why this is cool. So if I go down here where I was in the first place, now what I do is if I think of that chord and that chord, and then I join them to the two patterns together. That's a 3-note pattern. That's another 3-note pattern. What happens is I get 6 notes. So I get 2 notes there. I get the G, and I get the F sharp here on the thin E string. I get the E here, and I get the D here on the B string, and then I get the B here, and then I get the A here. Okay. Right? And then what happens is then really what I'm thinking 2 chords that don't share the same notes, which means I end up with 6 notes, which is something that you can call a hexatonic scale. Yeah? Hex is 6. So we put that together, and it's also known as string pairs. And I think this is not string pairs, triad pairs. Yeah? Get the marbles out of my mouth. So the thing is, then I can think to myself, that note, I can just borrow it from the next shape. But I'm thinking that. And the thing is, those are really melodic. Can you hear? If I put the D string in. There we go. So, does that make sense? If that makes sense, let me know in the chat. Yeah, you could do that with 2 chords that are next to each other. So if you take, look this. If I do it with chord 2 and chord 3 there, yeah. So we've got that, those 2 notes there. Look at the next part of the shape. So I'm thinking about shapes of chords, but where they are in relation to the key. Let's have a look. Who's on? Usernames are changing. Hey up! I hear you talking about baritone. I was just on the hunt for a neck to put on a Player 2 Strat body. Am I crazy? How is live? Did I miss the amount? There was no announcement there at all, Inga. I just thought, let's come on, let's have a look, see how everybody's doing, and yeah, that was it. So you didn't miss any announcements. Haircut, lack of haircut. Does it suit me? That's the thing. I don't know. It's kind of like it's almost like a midlife crisis sort of deal, isn't it? Really, grow your hair long, you know. Um, but yeah, it's fine. I'm all right with it. It's good. So, did that make sense there, guys? Oh no, Mo. No, what's going on? Why? We need to know why. Your guitar is good for you. You know this. You know it is therapy. It's not always about, like feeling that you're becoming the next Steve Vai or whatever. Comparing yourself. You need to touch your guitar. You need to pick it up and find solace in it. That's the thing. Am I right, guys? Where are we at? Let's have a look. Who's online? Have we got people just popping in and out, which I'm fine with. Oh, baritone uke is tuned like the bottom strings on the guitar. The regular. All right, okay. I didn't think it was. I'm sure I had one. I think it's down there somewhere. I have a really nice. My daughter's pink one. I can understand that with the dog. Yeah, and a couple of mountain bike crashes. Oh, that sounds horrendous. But I hope you're on the mend. Oh, broken wrist. Your other hand, you can still look at guitars though. There's a joy in just looking at. Don't you think guitars are absolutely beautiful? You can still look at them. Ron Dog is here in the chat as well. Thunder Ace, hey yo, my buddy, my OG. Good to see you, man. We are live, and it's like I've not really talked about anything, and we're already 27 minutes in. The usual waffles. We're here for those. I do get emails from you guys saying, when are you going to do the waffles again, Ricky? And I know you miss them, and I miss them as well. To be honest, just so much going on behind the scenes. Shining like new. Mo says his guitar is on his stand, shining like new. You can look at it, but the thing is, don't put it in a case and stick it in the loft or in a wardrobe under the bed. Leave it there. It will be there subliminally, telling you, coaxing you, going, come hither, play me. We do that, and eventually, and your wrist will be saying, yeah, we're good, go for it. So hopefully that'll be the case. I hope that's the case. How's my family? I hope everyone is. We are all doing wonderful. We are doing wonderful. Thank you very much, Roger. We are. We were in London last week. We went to see Operation Mincemeat. I've just said those two magic words now, and my daughter will come running up the stairs. She's crazy about it. And I would say, if you get a chance to see that, go and see it. We went to see The Devil Wears Prada. I didn't much like. I think Elton John's lost his touch when it comes to songwriting, to be fair. And he's written all the music for that. And then we went to see The Mousetrap as well, which is a play. And so, and that was interesting. That was not what I expected it to be. And that was pretty cool to see a proper play. And then, so that was that. And then prior to that, at the beginning of my daughter's school holidays, we went to France. And that was lovely, to Brittany. And if you can ever get out to Brittany, then you should, because it's absolutely beautiful, the country over there in France. But learn some French. Learn some French, and you will. The world opens up to you in France. I think that's the thing with going to France, is you have to speak the lingo if you can. And that shouldn't. Am I right in thinking that? I always think that if I go to Turkey, I learn the basics. If I go to any country, I learn the basics. Please, thank you, good morning, good night, all these different things, and then build upon that little foundation. Hello, Mrs. Ricky. I'm online. You can see you're not. Mrs. Ricky isn't upstairs in her little office, monitoring things. She doesn't. You don't need to be, do you? We're just sat here waffling. You heard me say Operation Mincemeat, didn't you? Oh, the magic word. My daughter's here. She heard me. I told you. It's like I've evoked the gods of musical theatre, and she's out there. She's there. Yeah, so, yeah, like a genie, rubbing a lamp and the genie shall appear. Yeah. You should come to Geneva. You have the lake left and the mountains on the... Oh, Geneva sounds wonderful. That's the song, isn't it? Smoke on the Water. Is that the Lake Geneva shoreline? Am I right in saying that? Is that what that's about? There was something about that, because it's based on a true story, I imagine. I think. I don't know if that's right. It might be America. Montreux. Oh. Is that in the same spot? I'm geographically challenged. Yeah, so I always get my places mixed up. I was just saying the other day that I get over here Southampton, Portsmouth and Southport all mixed up, because they've got those kind of, they borrow from each other's names, so I get a bit muddled up. Not far away. Great. Okay, Montreux. Yeah, that's it. Deep Purple. What did I say? Black Sabbath. Deep Purple. Yeah. Smoke on Water. No, John. Mousetrap is still on. And they've got a little meter out in the lobby where you come in, and it tells you how many performances, and it's like so many. I think they do like 2 performances a day. I'm not so might be wrong, but I know they do a lot. They've done a lot of performances. But yeah, very, very. I'm not allowed to. I can't tell you the who did it, because at the end of the Mousetrap they say, now you know who done it. You can't say. Yeah, you're not allowed to say. Oh, did he? Oh, right. Okay. Did anybody see the Richie? Did you see the Richie Blackmore footage of him playing guitar? He was very nervous, bless him. You could tell it had been a while. He got up on stage and he played with one of the guys from Deep Purple who's still singing. Oh, the name escapes me. But yeah, he recently got up and played and threw his pick out at the end and everything. And it was nice to see him doing that, just like, when legends do things like that, it's nice. But yeah, unfortunately, I think it's one of those things. Age has caught up, and yeah, that's the one. Ron Maxfield. Ron says, "Hey up, master guitarist." Hopefully that's you that you're referring to there. Gillan. Yeah, Gillan. Yeah, that's it. Ian Gillan. That's who it was with. Yes. Just wait till I'm still hanging around learning bunches. That's good. I hope you're mastering the guitar. I think to myself, honest to God, I think the day you think you know it all, yeah, is the day to give up. I try and, in my own mind, yeah, think like a white belt. Like a black belt, you got a black belt and you're meant to be good at karate. But that white belt mentality, I think, is really, really important. You know, really is. Roger Glover played bass. I should get a friend of mine to come on. He's just Sam Wood. He's done some depping with Uriah Heep recently, because the singer, the guitarist Mick Box, he was poorly, so Sam was asked to dep, and he did a tour, and he enjoyed himself. He was telling us how he enjoyed that immensely. So, but you know, it's like these bands, they're disappearing, aren't they? You know, that is, isn't it? And I'm going to pop that up there because oh, there we go. Yeah, so it was nice to see him on stage. I was smiling all the way watching through that as well. John Lord keyboard, yes, John Lord. I love that rock Hammond sound, man. It's amazing. Ron is like, so Ron started learning when he was like before he was born, about 100 years ago, and then how is 11 years old, and then now I'm 72. It just comes, doesn't it? It just comes at you. Does this aging thing, you know? I was talking to. I have a boxing trainer. I've loved boxing all my life, and I've boxed since the age of 19 on and off. Nothing serious, just for you know, keeping myself sharp, and I think more about anything else. The kind of it's good for my mental health, you know, and getting out and about. So the thing is, but we were talking about that, about how age and everything else like that comes up on you. I forgot what I was. There was a point to what I was going to say there, but I've bloody forgotten, haven't I? That's probably age. Yeah, but yeah. So, but it was really moving to see Blackmore and see. But even there, look at all the greats, you know, with boxing and everything else. They're all aging out, you know. You see them punditing on stuff. Good fight, actually, I will say, coming up, and it's Moses Itauma, and I can't say the other guy's name, but I think he's Ukrainian. And Moses Itauma is being kind of lauded as being the new Mike Tyson. Yeah, it wasn't. No, it wasn't Richard. It absolutely wasn't. You know, but the thing is, you see that brochure? I think that's in the same place on the same shelf next to the manual that we were meant to get as well for life, where you got everything you wanted. You know, I'm sometimes a little bit disappointed with this universe, because if I'd created this universe, then I'd be able to fly. There would be no need for a car, obviously. And cake and confectionery and chocolate and stuff like that would have the opposite effect. They would make you thin. That's what I think. I think it'd be that would be spot on. If we could can we just have that little tweak, please? That would be great. I'd love that. Thank you very much. You know, so I'm hoping I'm hoping I've had some hand in that, Ron. That would be great. Richard says, "You mean there's a manual? There's a I don't know. Well, I haven't seen it. Consequence-free cake. Yes. Oh, just imagine that. That'd sell literally like hotcakes on Amazon, wouldn't it? It's like the consequence-free cake recipe book. Yeah, double chocolate. Don't worry, it won't make you fat because it's got Ozempic in it. You know, that's that. Ozempic cake. Maybe that's the thing. Maybe that's the future. Maybe that's the thing. Maybe that's what we should do. We should. You heard it first here, guys. Ozempic cake. Hopefully, everybody. We've got quite a few of the gang in here. Nice to see everybody here, and nice to be back on. And so, any other questions? There was about the. Did I even answer that previous question? There was a question. I'm sure there was. Yeah, Martin. Oh, I'm going to skip back a bit because Martin says he's been working on his triads. I think people overthink triads. Martin, there you go. Right, okay, there we go. I'll add that to the broadcast. I've been working on triads on the DGB and the GBE strings. Okay, I'll tell you my kind of philosophy. GL1 cake, yeah. Yeah, my philosophy is. If you didn't know, on the channel there is a video that is the 3 master triads, okay? And basically, if you sit there with a fretboard and it's just natural notes, just the C major chord plotted out, all you do is you just look at the fretboard diagram and you go, right, okay, I'll just highlight the notes C, E, and G, and magically in front of you, you will see the master template for 3 triad patterns. Now, those 3 triad patterns, they beautifully overlay onto the cage system, which is another framework. It's completely, they work in harmony with each other. They move together, but they are different to each other. So they do part ways in some ways. But what you want to do is you want to learn those 3 master patterns. Then once you know how they work, then what you need to do is you find the root 3rd 5th triad, yeah, your root position triad, then your first inversion where you go 3rd 5th root, then the second inversion where you go 5th root 3rd, okay, 5R3. Or you know how we're going about 5R3, because that is the master template for your triads. Let me show you one. I'll show you what I mean. Right. C. You know this C chord here. Okay, so we've got this C chord here. This is the root 3rd 5th. Okay? Ba-da-da. You know the sound of that? Right, so we know that one there. Now, if I carry on, I'll go root 3rd 5th. That's a C, root 3rd. So that is my C shape. And that's what's going on there, guys. Some of the notes are repeated. Because you can think to yourself, oh, the C chord. Look at that. There. C shapes there. Okay? That C shape there, there's only 3 notes, but 2 of them are repeating. If you'll think about it, we've got a root here, we've got a root here, we've got a 3rd here, and we've got a 3rd here in this open string. We're going to get 1/5 in there, which is this open G. Now, some people like to play the C chord like this. It's not wrong. It's a second inversion because you're starting on the 5th. So you've got the 5, buzzy string there, 5R3. Got a 5R3 there. Look at that. Which is useful to know because if you're in C, what I can do is I can use that as a launch pad. So, got that triad on there. 5R3, root 3rd 5th, 3rd 5th root. Does this make sense? So we've got these there, right? Now, so if I know that's the 5th, then what I need to do is I need to go back to the root. Okay, and then what I can do is I can go across this position and I can think to myself, this is going to be a G shape because it's on the E string. But instead of playing a G shape, I just go down here. So now I've got this shape here. I've got this shape here. Now this is the C. So I'm going to go from the E here. That's going to be my third. There's my fifth. Oh, what am I thinking? Ricky, brain, come on. There it is. So we've got, yeah. So we've got the next shape coming along here. And I wasn't ready for this. There. And that's the, from that shape, from the E shape. But if we think about extending it, and then I come back here. So the thing is, I'm just resurfacing this idea here. There. So, what am I doing? Oh, there. I keep on thinking it's the A shape, but it isn't. Ricky! There, that's what it is. Just that bit. So, those three shapes. Anyhow, I wasn't prepared. But there you go. Right? So the thing the thing is, just to show you that there is a C shape which kind of, when I think about this, I start to think, well, it's on the E string, so what shape are we getting into? And then you start to see the intersections between the shapes. So there's the C shape, there's the A shape, there's the G shape, there's the E shape, and I call this the D shape here. Yeah, so then I could play them in chords as well. And I forgot what the point is that I was getting. Oh, I know what I was getting to, the string sets that you're looking at. Yeah, now, when I think about these here, and I think to myself, okay, that portion there of that D, that C, that's a D shape. But if I move up here, you can see it merges and intersects with the C shape. C shape and D shape become one and the same. They morph into each other. Yeah, so I can think that. But when I think about string sets, and when I mean string sets, I mean groups of three strings. So G, B, E, the D, G, B, and the A, C, the A, D, and G, and then the E, A, and D. So those strings, there's four of them. So you just think of those string sets, and then that's a nice and easy way to compartmentalize this idea of going. So if I take just those there, or these here, then I can get those there. Now, I know what it is that I was thinking, because I was thinking it was really important for me to tell you that a lot of people have this notion that you have, Mike, it isn't just the cage system, it's triads. The difference between it is the cage system and this triad, the three master triads, is that they overlay on top of each other. They're kind of interchangeable in spots. It's kind of they're part of the same framework, but they are two different separate frameworks. Yeah, but you'll be able to, if you understand your triad patterns, your three master triad patterns, then you'll be able to understand how to modify your caged shapes. Okay. Someone's asking about the other shape. I've already told one of the shapes already. Actually, it was the Mixo grid. It's in an old live, in one of my last lives that I did. I talked about the Mixo grid. So anyhow, back to this idea. Why learn this in the first place? And the thing is, it's like that idea that I started out with. There's a three note. You could think of that as a triad, yeah? It's a fifth root and third, second inversion. Yeah, and this is as well. But this is minor. Okay, this is minor here. There. Oh, Mike, I've just noticed your icon. Your profile picture. Hang on. If you know, you know. Hey, see it? Mike. I spotted it. Yeah, so like I had there, well, what we were thinking, what I think to myself is the most voice-like. Yeah, you think about it. If I played this fifth root and third down here, it's very low. And you, which songs do you know that start? Regrets. I don't know. There's songs that very rare. You're going to get songs in sort of bass voice, and that's exactly what's happening here as well, guys. Because past the middle C here, this is middle C on guitar. Yeah. Now we're into the bass clef. Yeah, even though it's 8/8 when it's played an octave above. Yeah, so that's the way we sight read guitar music. That would be middle C. So those are bass notes. You've never heard of a bass lead singer, have you? So all the notes that singers use are in the high frequencies. So it makes sense to exploit the D, G and B strings and the G, B and E strings. So using these little shapes, whatever it is that you need to help you to get those. And then just work on them. Yeah, and just memorizing them. But like I say, the easiest thing is right. That's the A shape going into the G shape there. So that's the A. That's the A from this is why caged and these transfer over. But if I was playing the A shape proper, yeah, like that, that would be okay. That would still comply. This note wouldn't, however, with that master triad shape there, because what we think about it is this inversion shape here, which is borrowed from the G shape. Yeah, so there's the G shape, and then there's the G shape. That little 3-note cluster there is what I call the intersect. There's the A shape. I'm into the G shape. Yeah. So that's a way of thinking about it. So yeah, they're related. They are siblings. I'd say if we're thinking about it from a framework perspective, Caged and the Master Triads are siblings. Yeah, they're not uncles or aunts or anything else like that. Let's have a little look with this the aging thing. Dorian Gray. We need our pictures of Dorian Gray. So let's look. Ron Dog says, will I start up live classes like old times? I don't know if I will, to be honest, but I do think that I should pop on a bit more. Because if you remember the last time when I couldn't really keep up with work, publishing videos and doing lives and everything else, because it was taking me a good solid day, maybe day and a half to prepare for the live streams, just to get everything ready, and yeah, so that was that was one of the things. One guy says this is super confusing. Right, okay, well, I've got you here, right? I've got you here. Why is it confusing? Yeah. Tell me why you think it's confusing, and tell me what it is that you already understand. Let me try and meet you where you are. Yeah, and then maybe I can clear it up, because if you might be thinking it's confusing, somebody else might be thinking it's confusing. So let's deal with it. Let's break it down and let's fill the gaps, because that's the thing. Travis Wayne Doyle says, do you play regularly in any bands, and if so, do you folks have music shared anywhere we could check out? Are you talking to everybody, or talking to me? Perhaps I should do it once a month. You should call out what progression you're playing, like 1-4-5 or whatever. I wasn't playing a progression there. I was basically just playing one chord there, really. One curator. I was just playing the C major but I was showing you in the 3 master triads. Yeah. I haven't prepared, so maybe I fluffed it a bit. But there's a really good video on the channel. There is a very good video on the channel that explains it all. So that's that. But I think we want to. Come on, one guy says. Let's have what you're thinking. You know music theory. No, I'm not offended at all. Yeah. But the thing is, it's not. I'm not offended at all. I really want to help you, and that's the thing. If I can do, you know. So you say you know music theory, but my method is a bit confusing. My method is purely guided by guitar. Yeah. By guitar, right? And I suppose when I went to music college, it was all classical music. So the thing is, I had to retranslate that. So I get the confusion, because I was like, trying to figure out, what a German sixth was and all this stuff, yeah, and how that, what did that mean when I'm playing Pantera, yeah, okay, so you only play guitar as well. So okay then. If you could tell me what it is exactly, if you could be a bit more explicit, what it is that you might be struggling with to understand. I don't understand. Do you understand the cage system? Do you like that? What I tend to teach is, I teach the theory behind simple patterns that you can use to play music, and that's what I'm all about. Maybe it's the cage system. Well, the cage system, it exists. It's a thing, and it's there. It's there to be used. That you don't understand, right? Okay. Let's do this, because this is good, right? Let me just try and clear it up, and I'll try and condense it. I'll condense it. I've done loads of videos on the channel about the cage system, and I think a lot of people kind of get it wrong. They think that it's just chords, yeah, but it isn't, because we have 3 elements of pitch. We have chords, scales, and we have arpeggios. You follow the circle of fourths, circle of fifths. Maybe that's why. I don't know, because the thing is, the cage system is immediately more available than the circle of fourths and circle of fifths. Those equally have merit, and I can tap into that again. And I started that earlier on when I talked about Battle Ends and Down Goes Charles' Father earlier on. But so the thing is, if I go like this, and actually Roger just simplified it there. There are 5 chord shapes: C, A, G, E, and D. They spell the acronym that is caged. That's why it's called the cage system. C shape, A shape, G shape, E shape, D shape. Now what we can do is we can take those shapes and we can play exactly the same chord and move it up the neck. So if I play a C chord here, I'm playing this C chord using the notes C, E, and G. No, there are. One guy says that 5 shapes. Honestly, simplify everything. There are more than 5 shapes, but the thing is, these are the master shapes. Think of any other shape that comes from this as being a modification. Okay, right? So bear with me. Yeah. So we've got the C shape here. Okay, so that's a C-shaped C. It consists of a C, an E, and a G. Okay. Now what I can do is I can use that root note there, and I can find the A shape here. Okay. So this is the A-shaped C major. Okay. C-shaped, A-shaped. Now a little bit more awkward to play is the next one up, and this A shape, by the way, that's just the notes C, E, and G. Okay. Right. This one here. This is the G shape. Now, I could put these fingers on here and hopefully you can see what looks like the G shape. It's an awkward one to play as a bar chord, okay? Okay, so we've got this there. There is no B chord shape. There is no B shape, okay? But what we do is, instead of playing this awkward shape, here's what we can do. We can play it as a first inversion, like Hendrix did. Okay, so we've got that there. There's that G shape. That's what I'm thinking about it there. So here's the thing, yeah? Now that's my root note for my G shape, which is also the root note for my E shape. Okay, and I play that as this shape here. Now here's the thing. This one here, everybody thinks of that as being the F shape, but it isn't. It's here. They're kind... Let's discuss it. These are opinions. The cage system is kind of bad because people learn shapes and don't know what notes or inversions they're in. It's better to play 3 triad inversions up and down the same 3 strings. It's one way of looking at it. The thing is, there is no cookie cutter, there is no definitive way of working. Yeah, it's what works for the person who is learning. Everybody learns differently. Yeah, when I did my teaching qualification, that was one of the things that was really, really hammered home to me, is there's lots of different learning styles, there's lots of different teaching styles. The teaching style that I have is the one that I have. Yes, it's the only one I know. I'm not going to change it. Yeah, but the triads, yes, you need to know your intervals. You need to know your inversions. You need to know that stuff. But you can tie it in with the simpler stuff, and you can simplify your understanding of caged, because caged and the 3 master triad shapes, they are bedfellows, like I said before. So the thing is, yeah. So what we say is, so like I said here, C shape C, A shape C, G shape, E shape. Awkward one, this one. Like if you think about it, trying to play a D shape, you could play it like that. It's awkward like that. But if you wanted to, you could actually just play it as this, as an inversion there, like that. But what I like to do is I like to play it as a first inversion like this, with a drop voicing. So the thing is, when one guy says there are other shapes, where is that? Where did he say that? There are more than shapes. Yes, inversions. Drop voicings, drop 3 voicings. But I'm telling you, yeah, you can boil them all down to cage shapes. You can boil them all down to cage shapes. That's what happens. Yeah, and it's not me. I didn't come up with it. And the guy that came up with it, who's attributed to being the first one that said these are the caged forms, is Joe Pass. Yeah. And as far as I'm concerned, if Joe Pass says it, is that's what is the nature of guitar. Him and Pat Martino, yeah, right. That's the thing, yeah. Then I'm going with that. That's what I'm going to go with. That I'm gonna. I mean, you know, who knows that way? Who knows that thing? The Pat Martino thing. Yeah, because he says that he has a thing where he says that chords are either diminished. The true nature of chords is that they're diminished or augmented. And it's like, hang on, there's another thing that I need to think about here. Yeah, so it's like, but what it is that's equally as viable as far as I'm concerned. I'm not going to get into the Pat Martino thing. That's a whole delve into a whole kind of like another universe. So the thing is, right, what I'm saying is that yes, I can't remember what it was that you found confusing. There, one guy says. So does this help you with the cage system at all to understand that that's what it is? And then what I do is I look at that there and I think to myself, there's the caged chord. Yeah. What we have is, like I said before, 3 pitch things. Yeah. Chords, scales, arpeggios. chord, scale. Yeah, so I've got my scale. Oh. I wanted to leave that out. I'll play it up here. There's my E major arpeggio, but I'm playing it using a C shape. You could see that as a D shape. Yeah? And because this is the layer where you need to know the triads, which is what Monkey Rater said was about your triads. Yes, because I know that this is the fifth, the root and the third, and it's a second inversion triad. What I'll do is I'll go fifth, root, third. I want to turn this minor, flatten the third. I can see it's there. There's the shape. Here's the arpeggio. So I know that this is all part of the same thing there. Okay, I want to turn this into a diminished. There's my fifth, flatten it. So I've got a diminished triad there as well. Okay? So I've got a diminished there. Oh, hang on. So let's go back to that major that I had there. Augment it. There's the augmented fifth. So there's all these different things. I mean, if all I can say is, yeah, that you've got to find that you've got to find the way that you've got to find the way that makes sense to you, really. And if how I teach you find confusing, then all I can suggest is watch more of my videos, because you will. I try and come at it from as many perspectives as I possibly can. I don't have one cookie cutter way of doing it. Yeah, I try to make it as simple as I possibly can. And you know, down to things like somebody was saying about the L7 grid. Yeah, it's just a pattern. But the thing is, it's going to help you. That looks like a 7. This one looks like an L. So I called it the L7 grid. Makes sense to me. Okay? So the thing is, 3 major chords, 3 minor chords. It's a movable pattern that you can move around. But because we've got chords, scales and arpeggios, I can think to myself, okay, chord 1, okay. There's my arpeggio. Yeah? But I'm not playing that in the same way as I would play a master triad. Okay? Because a master triad would be there, because I would be always moving within the range of how I think of it as there's the root, the third and the fifth, and goes back to the root. So we're always going around that little triangle there. Yeah, so there's a way of doing that. So this is root, third, fifth, root, third, fifth, root. I does it in a different way. Can the cage system be used? Can the cage system be used with keyboard? No, it's a guitar thing. It's a guitar thing. So that's the thing, really. It's the guitar is. We get, what do we get? Yeah, those guitars with no dots on the front and everything, they're really hard to understand what's going on. So it's like, and the dots on the side, those are the most important things on the fretboard. But other than that, there's no real kind of way of seeing things other than we have to hallucinate. I know that sounds really weird. You have to visualize and you have to see these things, and that's the thing, right? And I'll say this as well, is that when you think of these things, yeah, if you haven't got a guitar with you right now, yeah, what I want you to do is I want you to hold your hand up, and I just want you to imagine you're playing an E chord. And you will get a ghost of the feeling of what it is to hold an E chord if you know how to hold an E chord. Does that make sense? And that's your kinesthetic. So my thinking is we have the auditory, the kinesthetic, and the visual, and we have to tie all 3 of those ways in. Now, the thing is, this is probably where this is probably I would say one guy says that I don't think I teach cage system like other people. I teach it a bit different. Yeah. But getting back to what I was saying is about sensory perception. Yeah. The thing is, some people have, it's called submodalities, yeah, that make more sense to them. Some people are visual. Some people are more kinesthetic, how it feels. Yes. And if you think about it, when we play guitar, right, when we're looking at the fretboard, we are visualizing shapes. Yeah, we are holding shapes and feeling the strings. We're getting feedback there, and then we're actually hearing it as well. So we've got those three things, okay, that we've got those three different things. Now, it might be if somebody who is visual really understands the cage system, sees it. But it might be somebody who is more auditory that thinks, right, okay, I can hear that. You know, and if you look, that's you know, some of these people who have perfect pitch. You know, it's a blessing. It's also, I know a couple, and it's actually a nightmare if things are out of tune. So the thing is, so the thing with it is that you've got to think about where you come from in that, and if you're even aware of that, are you aware of which of those three senses is the one that you really understand the nature of the guitar, or the how you interact with it. Yeah, I think that's the way I kind of think about it anyhow. But there's no cookie cutter. Whatever works, man. If it works, it ain't stupid. Yeah, and the thing is, and this is the internet, and most people spend a lot of time, you know, thinking and reading stuff, and then you know you get annoyed with it, or it's just like there's too much stuff, and I think that's probably an issue. You know, really, it's making us all like, you know, befuddled. You know, I mean, who knows anything really these days? I mean, even with AI, with AI, is anything real on the internet? So the thing is, it's awful. Yeah, so it's terrible. Yeah, so the internet, it is a blessing and it's a curse, because you know, back in the day when I started, it was just like I had such limited material to learn from. It was like you had to hunt it out. It was like there was a story, actually, I think I remember, of was it Paul McCartney and George Harrison getting on a bus to go to Blackpool to see a guy who knew how to play a B7 chord, because they didn't have any. Now, that might be hokum, I don't know, but I'm not going to let the truth get in the way of a good story. I heard that and I thought, you know, the availability of information, you know, this is we're blessed, but we're overwhelmed at the same time. So really, yeah, find what works, and if it works for you, it ain't stupid. And I think the thing is, a lot of people dig the way I teach, and that's the thing. So really, I mean, I hope. And one guy, you said it there, man. You know, the one thing you know. Yeah, you said that. The only thing I know. Wow, you know, and that's exactly the way I feel. I think you know, it's like you think you know everything, and then you know nothing. And then do you know what? It's like next thing you know, you're in a box, and it doesn't really matter, does it? You know. And as far as I'm concerned, is like I get my life is wonderful because I get to share my love of this thing with people on internet. Yeah, I get to share my love of this thing, and this thing brings me together with strangers on the internet who love this as much as I do. You know, I'd throw down a gauntlet and say many not as much as I do, because I absolutely still obsessed with guitar. Consumes me, and how I can explain it and try and do stuff with it. I did see somebody mention something about circle of thirds. Circle of Thirds struck me when I was learning to sight read back at music college, about how the notes stack up, and the circle of thirds is an interesting thing as well. And I think I've done circle of thirds videos, and I've had some horrendous comments on it, but I can't help it. It's like mosquitoes. They exist. Some people don't want them to exist. I'm sure they serve a purpose somewhere along the line. Wasps. Let's go. Let's be a bit more amiable. Yeah, wasps. There must be a reason. Yeah, and then you find out. Oh yeah, well, wasps they break down carrion. They eat rotten wood and help break down the stuff that's rotting on the forest floor. You know, all that sort of stuff. So, yes, I got stung in France actually on holiday somewhere up here, and I was just like, I felt something on my arm, and I went and I rubbed my hand like that, and bugger, it got me. I was like, ah, you know. So, and that's the thing. Ron puts that up there, and that's the thing. I don't claim to be the best guitarist or whatever. I'm just me. Yeah, I'm just me in the world, doing my thing. You know, and trying to be, you know, upbeat about it all. It is, yeah, and one guy says, yeah, it isn't an argument, guy. No, absolutely. If I have an opportunity to maybe offer a different perspective that worked for you, and it helped, and it, you had a little breakthrough with it, and you thought, oh, okay, then I am super happy. Yeah, that's my whole reason for being. That's it. That's what I realized, you know. When I had to hang up the idea of being a rock star and all that, you know, I realized that just like what I'm here for is to teach guitar, and I'll teach it my way, and hopefully along the way some people get it, you know, and that's the thing. You know, that's it. And Ron said something as well that I thought was interesting. Yeah. Who's seen what? No matter how good a guitarist you are, there's always someone better. Isn't that subjective though? Some people will say that the guys in Periphery, you know, those technical wizards, you know, they're the best. What about jazz guys? Are they the best? Is you know, Satriani the best? Is this guy the best? Is Dave Gilmour the best? Who's the best? Who can say who's the best? Yeah, it's whatever floats your boat, really, isn't it? Really, some people might say, "Oh, it's electric guitar. What are you even talking about? It's got to be Segovia, classical guitar. What are you even talking about? Electric guitar doesn't even figure into this. Look at Bob Dylan when he played electric guitar for the first time in front of a folk audience. He was booed. It's like so. The thing is, it's like we all get caught up in this nonsense, and it's like, really, this relationship between this thing, it's an unbreakable bond. Yeah. So the thing is, that's the way I think about it, and I always think to myself, who's seen Watership Down, the movie, the animated version back in the day? I'll tell you a story about it in a minute, actually. I'll tell you the story first, actually, before I move on, because I won't remember it. I was a young lad, and it was the time when VHS videos were out, and my sister was having her 9th birthday party, and we had a VHS machine, and it was a birthday party around at the house, and my dad, in his infinite wisdom, went to the video shop, you know, when you used to go to the video shop, and he picked a video. It's got rabbits on the front. Watership Down. So he put it on, gave them a load of cake and that stuff, and sweet stuff and drinks. Put the video on, came back in, they're all there crying. They're in bits. Yeah, because that film. But there's one line from it, and I'll get back to it. There's one line from that film. It says, "You will always find the Hazel is one of the main characters." It says, "There's always a blacker rabbit and out there in the on the hill." You know, because it's all about the fighting, rabbits fighting with each other and stuff like that, and fighting for a hill, which is probably means something else these days. So that's what I'm saying is it's like, so no matter how good a guitarist you are, and as good as you need to be, in my mind, you need to be as good as what makes you happy. Does that make sense? That's all you really need, isn't it? If you're playing guitar and you're happy, you know, some people don't want to wail. Some people don't want to play super fast licks. Some people just want to play chord, strum, and sing some, God bless her, Dolly Parton songs. They want to sing Jolene. You know what I'm saying? It's like that's all they want to do. Yeah, and the thing is, it isn't just about noodling. That's the thing. I think that's the thing we obsess about with guitar is it's like we start noodling and we go, oh, right, this is the mission. But it isn't really, is it? You know? Well, it could be. Kind of is. But the thing is, it's not the only mission. That's what I'm saying. Is there's more than one mission with this. Okay. Yeah, Jason, it is such a dark film. You know? Yeah. Dunning-Kruger. Yes. Yeah, you need to be the best judge of who is the best. But, yeah. Check out the Hellcasters. Pretty cool players. Yes, they are. There's lots of cool players. But you see, Ross, that's who you think's cool. And hopefully you say that and somebody checks them out and they go, do you know what? Ross was right. They're cool. And someone else will go, yeah, not my bag. But yeah, it was good. Yeah. Yeah. But it's like, it's one of those, isn't it? It's like, you know, it's one of those things, really. Yeah, R.I.P. Dolly. God bless her. You love improv. I love improv. And the thing, and that's something as well. That's another thing, is for improv, is for me it's about finding your own voice. I like guys like Julien Lage. He does intros to jazz standards where he just improvises an intro and it's bliss. People like Bill Frisell. I love his improvs as well. But that's my taste, you know. So the thing is, but there's blues improvs and everything else. But for me, the whole thing is because you can only be yourself. Then the best thing is to be authentically yourself. Does that make sense? Because you can't be anybody else, yeah. And I think what's a good, and this was my early strategy. Like I say, when learning resources were sparse, I used to put a poster up of who I was thinking I want to emulate them. I don't want to learn. I have never been interested in learning how to play For the Love of God by Steve Vai, note for note perfect, lick perfect. Yes, never been interested. But if you ask me, you know, to break that whole thing, that whole piece down, the things that excite me about it are how we might use one arpeggio shape and then move into another shape, and the textures and the slides and those kind of things. So it's like, so then I think to myself, I like that. So what if I had a picture of Steve Vai on my wall, then he would be my focus of like, what do I dig about this guy? What do I think is great about this guy? It would be, yeah, how those arpeggios move, that slidiness. And then what I'd do is incorporate that into what I already had, what I have in my mojo bag. Yeah, if you've seen the film Crossroads, the movie, he has a mojo bag. You know, it's a kind of a voodoo thing, isn't it? And so then once you've done that, then what you do is you don't get too. I personally, don't get too married to that guy's style. Swap him out. Then next goes Eric Clapton. You know, I remember Eric Clapton being somebody I like. I thought, I really like how the way he does that. You know, his little his triplet trills that he does, and little idiosyncrasies. There's little things that you listen and you go, oh, that's the guy that's doing it for me right now. Yeah. So that's the one. You say never emulate but here's the thing, right? What you need to do is you do need to emulate. You need to do that. You need to try and embody what they're doing. You need to pull in the Jeff Beck, but you don't. What you do is it's like over the years, you find out that you've done it with like 50 different players, and you can't hear any of them. It doesn't stand out really. Right? I love Joe Bonamassa, but when he plays those 5-note groupings of the pentatonics, yeah, I just think Eric Johnson. Eric Gales does it as well, yeah. I just think that's Eric Johnson. So the thing is, it's like you have to iron those things out, and you go, yeah, those can be part of my vocabulary, but you know, I think you build up, you have this internalized sense of how you want to sound in your head. I do. I had this idea, you know, and it was, God bless him, he's passed away now, a local guitarist, a guy called Chris, who was like, he played in the style of George Benson, but something else, a bit of B.B. King and everything, and it was like, that's the sound. You know, you hear a sound and you go, that's it. That's the one. That's close to what I want to sound like. That's me. You know. So that's the thing, you know. And yeah. So that's the way I look at it. You know, be a magpie. Collect all these different things, because for me, it's like it's like going in a sweet shop and just saying, no, I'm only having licorice all sorts. And there's barley twists and there's marshmallow things and there's all sorts of different gubbins that you can have and pick and mix them all up, and then you have this wonderful thing and you think, oh, I didn't like that one, I'll save that one for later. Oh, these are my favourites, I'm going to save 3 of those to the last. You know, so that's the thing, really. Yeah, Orlando. Well, the thing is, I don't know if you can see this shoulder here. One of my other things that I've done since I've been a kid is I've painted watercolors. Yeah, so there and building and like not doing that for years, and then trying to come back to it, because before my mum passed, she said to me, take up watercolor painting again, and because I'm decent, but I had to relearn the whole vocabulary and think about how it all fits together, and it was struggle, you know. But I like that, because when I was teaching guitar, then I would just take that same thing, you know. I mentioned I do boxing, and some of the combinations my coach puts me through, it's like, you know, and it's like, an uppercut into a left hook, and then you know, then a right hook, and then a right uppercut, and I'm twisting, and I'm thinking, I'm not getting this at all. I'm 56-year-old man. Why have no no reason on earth to be trying to put these fancy combinations together, you know. Yeah, so, you know, this is the thing, you know. But that, you see, that keeps that, I like that, because I go boxing because it keeps me honest. I think that's boxing is an art. People don't seem to realise that, and I do think that there are a lot of parallels to how things work. And you might think that. In fact, actually, I had a session today, and I was thinking we were having a 7 a 7. There must have been 7. It was a 7-punch combination thing, and I was going, oh no, I can't get it. So I had to split it. I had to split it into a 3 and a 4, and then I got it. Yeah, just like I would do with a phrase on guitar. I just thought, all right, I'm not getting this. Yeah, and it's like, and I'm ducking when I'm supposed to be throwing across, and it's like, yeah, but I'm okay with that. Yeah, I've thought about grappling, but yes, not everyone understands, and well, not everyone understands science, but everybody, well, and that's the thing. Scientists understand science. I'm not a scientist, so I wouldn't speak on anything unless I have this kind of thing. If you're not in the room, if you're not there in the room, you know when discoveries were made. What do you know really? It's second-hand, third-hand, fourth-hand information that's been put out there and rewritten and spun and everything else like that. So what do we know? Are we any better? Hang on, we're getting into like putting the world to rights territory now. So Holando says, what is the best way to solo over chord progressions to make it sound more coherent? If I already know all 5 positions and all caged chords, I can improvise to a backing track well, but you know all the techniques. Okay. Oh, so for boxing, yeah, I get you. It is. There's a few different approaches, and it's like, and it's kind of like level 1, level 2, level 3. I think first port of call, I would say really, with improvising, soloing over a chord progression, is you need to know what key you're in, right? But once you know what key you're in, then what you need to do is, I'd say, find out where the licks live, the cliche licks. Yeah, just like I say, when you go on holiday, yeah, you go to France, you learn to say bonjour, bonsoir, merci beaucoup, merci bien, whatever it is, however you say it. Yeah, all those things that you need to fit in. Yeah, all those things that you need to fit in, the basic vocabulary. Licks are probably one of the first things that you should need to do. But the problem with licks is they become comfort zones. Yeah, so you end up just playing licks. Yeah, nothing inherently bad in that. There's a lot of players out there who are well famous, and they're lick players. Yeah, but know where to put your licks, but then know how to mix up those licks. Don't just take them at face value and not expand upon them. Reverse them, flip them. Then what I do is like, okay, so how is this lick interacting with the chord? And to do that, you have to really understand intervals. Okay, so how intervals are working on top of the chord, and this is the thing. I mentioned this before. George Russell did something called Lydian Concepts, a good book. 1950 or 1953 it was published. So the thing is, he came up with something. He said something, referenced something called chord of the moment. And I've done this before, and I've called it. If you've ever read the book The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, I think that's how you say his name. All that truly exists in life is the now. And I'm going to do the thing. Yeah, because if I say now in the future, as soon as I've said now, it's gone into the past. Okay? So now is transient. It's fleeting. It's ephemeral. And that's what music is. It lives in the now. It lives in that moment. So to describe that, how we describe that is the chord of the moment. If I play, and this is what I mean, okay? So this is an A major. So if I take this this G sharp here, right? And I sing this note. Still an A major here. Yeah, so that note, the tension or release that it is creating on top of that A major chord, that's what we're looking out for. Because I kind of think about it, it's all about tension and release. In that life, you look at a movie, you look at a play, it's three acts. There's generally a beginning is an exposition. Oh, this is where we are. Yeah, this is what's happening. Yeah, these are the main characters. Yeah, and this is the thing. All right, okay. Now, for it to be interesting to keep people involved in it, what you have to do is create some drama. That's the tension. And then at some point, yeah, then because human beings, we love resolve, really. Yeah, you wouldn't think it in the world the way it is. In the third act, we get some resolve, unless it's Easy Rider, because that's the craziest ending of a film probably ever. So the thing is, that chord of the moment, I think, is a useful way to think about how you are going to solo, and you have to be aware of that. And even if you're playing your cliche licks over the top of your chords, and you say, so you play, you know, this. So if I'm playing a simple, I'll play. No, wrong note, Rick. Not that one. No, I'm not going to go minor. It's a bit too... Right, I'll go there, yeah? Right, so I'm going to think about this. I'm just playing the A major pentatonic. Right, and I'm using... And I'm seeing this. I can see this shape. I can see this shape here underneath. So I'm already thinking to myself, okay, so I have an F sharp minor under there. I've got an A major. So I could think of either of those, yeah? So I could think of those there like that, right, on top of that A. But if I change the chord to a D, does that same thing work on a D? Yes, it does, but the notes change their intervallic value, because that's a major 7 for that D chord, yeah? Yeah, and then this is the third, and this is the fifth. So the intervals change when you change the chord. So simplify the lick. Okay? And then if I play an E, completely different chord. But this one, the A, that's the closest relation to that. So the scale matches the chord of the moment more, if that makes sense. So there's the chord of the moment. Doesn't matter what I put on it. You can put any note on top, and that's a kind of an idea. You can think of it as being yes, you put certain notes on top, but you can put any note on top as long as you can understand and interpret the tension as music, which is why some people, my wife does not like jazz. You know, I'll be playing stuff and she'll go, what the hell's that? It sounds like elevator music. What are you doing? What are you listening to that for? And I'm like, I'm really enjoying myself. I really like it. She's like, oh, I don't get it. She don't get it. And the thing is, it doesn't sound right. You know, 'cause some people, that's the thing. So it's about how broad is your palette musically? How can you Daniel, she's right. But the thing is, yeah, you will find that when I started learning guitar, I hated heavy metal. Yeah, I loved blues. Then I heard Pantera, and like that, I was rewired. It was rewired because I realised that they were basically playing heavy blues, yeah, and then those crunching tones and everything else. It was like, oh yeah, you know, and it became, and I think this is one of the things people say that people say rock is dead, but it isn't. It never will die, and no genre will die either. I don't think it will, because if you think about it, it's the same as EDM dance music, yeah, right? It's like, it's a vibe. There's an energy to it, just like, you know, Motown. It's a vibe. It has an energy to it. No music is ever going to go out of fashion. I don't think any music will go out of fashion, because there'll always be somebody who goes, "That's a cool vibe. I dig that." You know, the reason people say, "Oh no, I don't like that," is because maybe it's a scene thing. You know, oh, it's not cool to be liking that music. But as far as I'm concerned, you know, when I had my music school and say I was teaching loads of different people, and you know, you have a teenager you could see was actually struggling with life and homework and expectations and what the heck's going to come in the future and everything else like that. And it's like, and they'd come and they'd say, "I want to learn Justin Bieber's latest tune." I think that if I'd been of the mind to just scoff and say, "That's not real music," you know, then I'm just being an absolute doofus. Because the thing is, you don't know what that song might do to somebody. I always think there's always a song out there that can save somebody from themselves. Yeah, I do think there's always going to be that. Okay, so really, whatever you dig, you know. This is the thing. So anyhow, I veered off track with what I was saying. But one guy says, "Thanks for sticking around and joining in the conversation. Really appreciate it." Because some people, when I do live, some people in the past have like they dropped questions and just left, and it's like, oh. Yeah, like the professor. Exactly. Cork sniffers, cocking a snook. Yeah. Ooh. You know, and I think that's the thing. I can't express. You see, how. I mean, that's my story. Is Crossroads the movie? I'd not long split up with my first love, and she devastated me. I was in bits. I was a wreck of a man. And then just casually watching TV, and that film came on, and I heard the blues, and I was like, why does that, what's going on there? It was like, I heard it, and it was like a knife inside. I could feel it like a knife, and it was like, but it was good. And it was like, that hurts, but it's making it better. Why? How was this? Why is that? I need more of this. I need to learn this. And I wasn't playing guitar. I had tried to play guitar, learning guitar when I was like 12, but this was like when I was 18, so late to it. And I heard it, and that was it. I was gone. I needed to make that sound. Needed to do that, you know. Can I play any of the Paganini Caprices? So Andy Wood pull it out live last. Andy Wood's incredible. I'm nowhere near that guy's a legend, you know. That's, you know, and to be fair, Paganini Caprices, not my bag. You know, I'm a blues guy. You know, I like chords. I like, you know what? I like strumming chords. I like writing songs. You know, and that's the thing, you see. So I think is that us blokes? Is it? I don't know if there's any ladies out there. Is that those blokes that we just like, we get lost in the minutiae of things, of, you know, oh yes, this motorcycle has 1,000 cc's and the carburetor has I'm going to make a load of nonsense up now. This carburetor has a 7.92 aperture in the conundrum chamber, and then and because it does that, we get another extra 22.7 horsepower. It's like, that's blokes, isn't it? Is it me? Has anybody got a wife who can get in that depth in things? I don't know. I just think it's men. We're all curators and train spotters, you know. We all have our own little things, you know. I did it with camera lenses, vintage camera lenses. You know, what vintage camera lenses can I fit on my Canon? You know, it's like, oh, this one's really good. It's f1.2 aperture and f-stop and all this sort of stuff, and it's like, oh, and I realised that was, you know, it was like, oh, was it making me pictures any better? No. It didn't. Absolutely didn't. So the thing is, no, I can't play Paganini Caprices. But I know Yngwie plays stuff like that. It's amazing, isn't it, that we get so many great players out there that we can just tap into anytime we want on the internet. I love it to bits. You know, if I want to see some guy that can do, you know, play like Yngwie, then yeah, I can do, you know. Although, do you know, I do prefer Yngwie when he was in Alcatraz. Oh, look at that guy. The live, have you seen the live Alcatraz videos on YouTube? Oh, because of the movie that I mentioned. Yeah. Yeah, I wasn't aware that those... It's been a while since I watched the movie. And it was the blues that got me in that, not the classical, you know, really. The duel at the end... The scene that got me actually in that movie was when the harmonica guy and Ralph Macchio are in the barn. The girls just left him, and it was the blues ain't nothing but a good man feeling sad or something like that. Yeah. When I see a guy doing backflips while playing lead, only then have I found the best guitarist. Good luck with that. Good luck. There's that. Do you remember that meme with the drummer? Do you remember the ZZ Top drummer? Do you remember him? That was a thing, wasn't it, for a while? Yeah, it was like fascinating. Thank you, Cargoon. You know, I love it. It's what it's all about, and this is the thing. This is the thing about guitar. Look at this, guys. 1 hour 48. Just come on. I popped on to say hello, and here we are. 1 hour 48 later. It's just nice to chill with you. It's just really nice, and like I say, yeah. It even says it. Even says it on the bottom of the cup. Like, I have to. When you know, you know. Yeah, it goes in focus. When you know, you know. What do I think of guitar and harmonica, Sean? Do you know what we call it in my neck of the woods? We call it gob iron. Yeah, it's an iron you put in your gob. Obviously, you're probably going to need a few of those for different keys, aren't you? You just got to suck and blow and keep practicing and bending the notes. I think that's the one thing I like about blues harmonica specifically, is that you can bend notes, because they're little reeds, aren't they? Hey up, Cat Bubba. Good to see you again, my buddy. You've got 6. All right, you've probably covered all bases there. Yeah, so I think you know, I do like it. If I could have guitar and harmonica versus guitar and Hammond organ, I would always go guitar and Hammond organ. I love a Hammond organ, you know. And last band that I had together was well, it was a 3-piece at first. It was me, guitar drummer, and a bass player, and I was singing as well. But then we thought, well, let's get a keyboard player in, and we'll get some Hammond organ in there as well. And then life and work, you know. Yes, you just mess with everything. It's a playground, isn't it? Isn't it? We've got this wonderful playground. Yeah. I do wish we'd stop, blowing it up and stuff, because that'd be useful, you know. Yes, Ross, Hammond with a Leslie. I remember finding a Leslie in a skip once, and we wired it up and did the guitar through it. No, but they're just too bloody heavy to do anything with. Yeah. Cargoon says, 2 old folks learning to play and loving my videos. Thank you very much, man. It means a lot. You know, it means a lot that people enjoy my videos. There's loads of us guys. You as a guitar student, you are bloody spoilt. Let me tell you, you are spoilt. You know. I just get a dog. So yeah, it's great, isn't it? It's great because I mentioned before, because there was no internet when I started. Do you remember that? Days before the internet. Oh, it were great. It were great. It was a lot calmer, wasn't it? It was a lot calmer. I'm sure all the stuff that's going on out there was still going on out there. We just didn't know about it because it was like, it wasn't, everybody telling you that it's going on out there. It was a nightmare getting stuff. And I'd go to the local library. Now, here's the thing. When I was younger, I'd had a library card and I'd let my books go overdue, and I owed loads of fines at the library, and so I dropped the books back off, but it was like 8 weeks late, and I owed them some money and I couldn't pay it back. So I thought, oh, I can't take any books out, so I'd have to go to the library with pen and paper and copy things out of the books. But I thought to myself, actually, this is good, because when you draw it out, you know where you're putting it. It's like, oh, no, that's wrong. Hang on, is that right? Does that match that diagram there? No, it doesn't, does it? Oh, hang on, scrub it out, start again. Right, okay, put that there, that one there, that one there. Oh, that's that finger. And you'd write it all out, and that's what I used to do, write it on pieces of paper and stuff like that, and then they'd kick me out of the library. Yeah, so that's the thing, but it's like, it's great, isn't it? It's great now. It's like you've got all sorts of cool people on here that you can learn guitar from. There's so many. There are so many. Hey, Nancy Parsons. Lovely to see you in the chat there, Nancy. Yes. Yeah, tabs. There's all sorts of tabs. Oh man, if you've been on my streams before, I used to go to a local second-hand shop, used goods shop, and they used to have the American guitar magazines in there, and every now and then a VHS, and that's where I discovered George Lynch and from Lynch Mob, and loads of other people as well, and. I got one video that was the Tampa Bay thrash metal explosion. It was Anthrax, Metallica, Megadeth. Might have been Anvil at the time, something like that. It was like the whole thrash metal scene. And I was like, oh, and I listened to it. Oh no, I don't like this one. And then I came back to it a couple of years later, and I was like, oh, this is good. This is actually good. So yeah, and. So where are we? Pre-Xerox and neck paper. Absolutely. I remember some guy having like a little paper stamp thing, you know, ink stamp. And it was a chord box. I was like, where'd you get that from? Oh, I had to make it. And it's like, that's what you did. You made things. Tabs is the reason I will know the world will end soon. I don't mind tabs for getting started. You know, I think right at the beginning of playing, you need quick results. You need to hear that you need it to bear some fruit pretty damn quickly. Otherwise, in today's world especially, yeah, there's always something else you could be doing. You know, you could be like, all right, okay, I'm going to go and make a cabinet. You know what I mean? And start, next thing you know, you're looking up chisels and mallets. So the thing is, tabs are great for that. The only problem with tabs is that generally there's no rhythmic notation on them, and I find that's a bit of a struggle for me. And if you look at somewhere like Ultimate Guitar for tabs, I always think to myself, sometimes it's a good start, but so you'll play through things and you go, no, you're in the wrong position there. Same note, wrong position. And in that the thing, when you play middle C, when you play a C on the piano, C3, yeah, it's only one place on the piano. You play an E on the guitar, you know, you're like, oh, that's E, this is E. You know, so we get, it's just like there's loads of different positions we can do it. So it's like, oh, okay. And then next thing you know, you can't play the thing because it's been tabbed wrong. Whereas standard notation is good, but it's a whole new language. Yeah, and I find that if you in 36 years of teaching, if you put standard notation in front of people, it's too much like Bar Bar Black Sheep. And I don't know about you, but I had enough of that when I was 3-year-old. By the time I was 4, I'd outgrown that song. Yeah, right. So I think tabs, yes, but learn to sight read as well. Why not have both? Whereas the Life's a Sweet Shop, you can have both, you know. You can. you could have both. It's possible that both things can coexist. So it's like, I've got a lovely big Jimi Hendrix book up there, and it's tabs and it's standard notation, and it's great. And then I'll look at the tab and I'll go, oh, that looks wrong. And then I'll look at the standard notation above, and then I'll go, oh, that's what it should be. And then that's like, oh yeah, right, great, okay. Now I can move on and I can accomplish that thing. If you feel like plucking your guitar for a bit, the thing is, right, it's about psychomotor control. One of the things, if you think about it, everybody just have a little hark back to when you were a beginner, yeah, and just think about how your fingertips hurt, how you had no idea whether you were holding a chord shape correctly or not, or whether you were hearing it correctly, yeah, for that matter. So the thing is, it's like, the beautiful thing is, if you can play a recognizable tune that you already know, it's already in your memory, yeah, you already have it. And if you can replicate it on the guitar, then you get this like, okay, yeah, we're getting somewhere. And as soon as you feel that, then you're going to go, maybe I can stick at this a little bit longer. Maybe I can just do this a little bit longer. And if I do it a little bit longer, then hang on, I'll practice it again. I enjoyed it last time. I'll practice it again. I'll do it tomorrow. Okay. Oh, I couldn't do tomorrow. I'll do the day after. All right. Okay. So I've put some practice in, and I learnt another little melody, another little tune, and I used tab. Because the thing is, if I put some sheet music in front of an absolute beginner, it just looks like cuneiform. It's hieroglyphics. I might as well just like say, okay, we're in ancient Egypt now. I want you to decipher this pillar here, right, and tell me which pharaoh existed in this time period. You know, it's like, it's not. Yeah. So the thing is, one of the first things you need to do is get control of these, your hands. Get control of these and get them to go where you want them to do, and you have to develop specific psychomotor control to do that. And the beautiful thing about tab is it says 0 string, B string. Oh, okay. Hang on. Even if you go like this, you go. It's on the B string line, and it's a 3. Okay, 0, 1, 2, 3, and you go. You know where it is. It's mapping. It's a coordinate thing. And you know, guys, tab predates standard notation, and standard notation isn't perfect either. You know, there's some groups on Facebook that will like argue the death about it and say you should be learning everything in frequencies, in hertz. I'm not even joking. It's like, oh yes, one must know that the A string is 110 hertz, and you know, and that the middle C is this, that, and other. You know, so yeah, use tabs when you first start, but don't let that be the only place, because I think, you know, it's useful to look at other things. It's useful to be able to. I remember when I was practicing my sight reading back in the day. I'm not so great at it now. Actually, I've let it slide. I'm not as good as I was back then, but aren't we all? I'm not as good as I was back then. The thing is, the thing was a clarinet book, grade 3. I think it was a grade 3 clarinet book, and it was just scales and melodies and stuff like that. But the fact I could take, the idea that stuck with me was that I could take a clarinet book and I could play what was in it, and it wasn't guitar. You know? And that's the thing. It's like, I don't really watch guitar videos on YouTube. That's a little secret. You'd think I would, because I play guitar, I would do that. What I really like to watch is piano tutorials. And then I look at the piano tutorials and then I translate it into guitar in my mind. And then I think, oh, right, okay. So I use another instrument. And sometimes I'll watch monophonic instruments, like people talking about saxophone, playing saxophone, and I think to myself, they can't play chords on a saxophone, so what they play is scales and arpeggios, yeah, and then so obviously they have a reduced amount of scope in what they can actually do, but they can still make music that touches the soul of somebody and their heart and says something and speaks to somebody and makes them go, my God, that's how I feel. Yeah. Funny enough, there's a guy who I watched 2 or 3 of his videos today. He's a saxophonist, and he plays sax in empty car lots. Yeah, and he's been doing it for a while now, and he's started to get it so that like he'll announce he's going to do it, and there's like 300 people all sat at the far end of the car park, and he's at the other end, and he just plays like his sax, and the space and the way that the echo and the delay like overlaps, and you know, and he creates chords using the space that he's in, because he'll play some really fast articulate scales and that sort of stuff. That's really fascinating. I heartily recommend you check that out. But if you do a Google search, it'll come up. Guy who plays sax in car parks. Yeah, saxophone, saxophonist. You know. But yeah, and that's the thing. And Sean's actually got something there. It's sax solos. Sean says something there. Breath. That's getting back to that whole. I wandered off track. That thing about improv over a chord progression is space, putting the space in. And if you think about it, we breathe. You have to breathe in between sentences and stuff like that, you know. Are there commercials coming up? There shouldn't be. You living? Oh, sorry. Hang on. Let's have a look at that. I don't understand why that's happening, Mo. Can I add a pay in euros option for your books and shop items? So no pounds and dollars options here. I'd have to look into that. It's a whole mountain of like rethinking about how I have to do that. I'll see if it's possible. I have thought about it. Are you getting commercials? All right. I thought they were turned off. Oh man, I'm sorry about that. I didn't know that was happening. Anyhow, guys, it's 10 to 10 here. Like I said, it's been a while. It's been a while, and I just thought I'd pop on and say hi. It's all good. Everything's good, man. Yeah. Every day. You've got to remember this. Every day above the dirt is a good one. Because one day there will be no more days above the dirt, and then that's it. So really, that's the way it works as far as I'm concerned. You know, guys, it's wonderful. It's amazing. Everything's amazing. It's exceptional that we're here. It really is exceptional that we're here, and we're personally, I feel gratitude for the fact that I'm here, and that, I mean, when I was a kid, I worked in the mill, in the woolen mills of Yorkshire. They're all gone now, and this thing came along, so I'm stoked with that. So look, lovely to see so many of the old names here in the chat. And lovely to see some new names and have an interesting conversation. Was it a lesson? I don't know. Was it? I don't know. It was just a chat as far as I was concerned. Yeah. So, but if you've enjoyed it, then I think that's absolutely fantastic. Then, you know, you get to talk about guitar, don't you? You get to talk about guitar and music, and you know, uphill both ways. Used to do that. When I worked at mill, it was like, they say, all right, now then, go get some rainbow paint from engineering. Or that was another one. Go to engineering department and ask for a long stand. Do you remember? So they say, yeah, I'll just go get you one. Just wait there. Yeah, that was what it was like. Yeah, now I need that. Run both ways and then you can walk back. Yeah. Nice to see you all, guys. I'm going to call it a day because I'm perturbed that you're getting ads. You shouldn't be getting ads. They didn't put any restrictions on that. So there we go. We have let's not have conflict, guys. It's just the internet. It's just the internet. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. You know? Okay, see you later. Next time. See you next time. Much love. Take care of yourself. Look after each other. And I'll see you on the other side. Okay, take care. Bye.